Recently, I was perusing the pages of Rolling Stone magazine, one of my favorites, by the way, and I saw a headline that shocked me, but I knew exactly who they were talking about in the headline. It said the singer of the perfect country and western song had passed away at the age of 86, and I knew exactly who that was. That was David Allen Coe. David Allen Coe was one heck of a singer. I mean, he was different, born in 1939, like I said, passed away at 86. He was different. He was a songwriter, a singer, but he saw most of his life either in reform school or prison. And even his own son said it was difficult to get to his father. His father had a knack for singing and had a knack for writing songs. Wrote a song for Tanya Tucker called Would You Lay Down With Me? Well, you may have never heard of that one. I'll bet I do know one song you've heard of, Johnny Paycheck. Take This Job and Shove It. Now, those are two of his more famous songs from David Allen Coe, but probably his best song, the perfect country and western song written by him and Steve Goodman. It was, You Don't Have to Call Me Darlin', Darlin', because you never even call me by my name. Now, that song had a lot of iterations going on to it, a lot of different verses. David sang it, and he said, this ain't the perfect country and western song, because they don't talk about trucks and mama and railroad and getting drunk. So Steve Goodman wrote him another verse, sent it back to him, and now it became the perfect country and western song. But Steve Goodman is the person I want to talk about, because I saw Steve Goodman here in Fort Wayne back in 1978. He was the opening guy, the opening act for none other than Steve Martin. Back in 1978, Steve Martin had the Wild and Crazy Tour, and it actually stopped here in Fort Wayne. And because I was working in media at the time, I got front row seats. I was lucky back then, and went to the concert. Didn't know who this person was. This guy comes out, Steve Goodman, comes out in a cowboy hat and a guitar. I thought, who the heck is this clown? By the end of his 30-minute set, folks, he had the audience in his hand. The end of his act, he got a standing ovation. And even Steve Martin was talking about it. Who is this guy? Well, it turns out, a few years later, Steve Martin was on the Carson show, Johnny Carson. He was out there doing a fundraising for Steve Goodman because he was suffering from leukemia. Eventually died in 1984. He was a Chicago boy. And if you don't know who Steve Goodman is, how about Go Cubs Go, the song? How about the dying request of a Cubs fan being buried at Wrigley Field, that kind of stuff? That was Steve Goodman. Steve Goodman was the opening act for Steve Martin. Great act. I'll never forget it. But he also helped write the verse for David Allen Coe. You Don't Have to Call Me Darlin', Darlin'. One of the classic country and western songs by one of the most, unique country and western singers. Hard times in his life, but you know what? Those songs, Take This Job and Shove It, and You Don't Have to Call Me Darlin', Darlin', will live on in music because of the man who sang them. The passing of songwriter and singer, country and western singer, David Allen Coe, passes at the age of 86. And now you know.